The engagement in the comment section has been outstanding. It can get a bit spirited at times, but for the most part, everyone has been respectful, and I thank you for that. What's clear is there's a wide range of viewpoints on any given topic. Please keep up the conversation, and if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe. This is a channel for all of us to have a voice. Like Paul, I believe we're all filled with knowledge and competent to instruct one another. With that being said, today's topic comes from one of our listeners, David. There are a lot of people who think that the Catholic Church actually removed the second commandment. Today on Matthew 7, we'll look at the case of the missing commandment. This is the Matthew 7 Project, and this message is entitled, The Missing Commandment. Let's get right to it. I'm a big believer in the 10 Commandments because I think if you can keep the 10, you end up being a really good person. To be quite blunt, it should be relatively easy for every Christian to live the 10. I understand there may need to be exceptions at times, like if you have to work on a Sabbath. Jesus, in fact, talked about working on the Sabbath extensively in the New Testament, saying, the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. He went on to say, the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. Aside from the Sabbath, all the others should be easy for any decent person to follow, even if they aren't a believer. So it should be easy for anyone who's a follower of Christ to not steal, kill, lie, or sleep with someone else's wife or husband. The 10 Commandments is one of the few times where God the Father spoke directly to people in an audible voice. Many people don't know this, but the 10 Commandments are found in two different books of the Bible, Exodus chapter 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 5. In Exodus 20, God gives the 10 Commandments to the people, and in Deuteronomy, Moses reminds the people of the commandments given in Exodus. In Deuteronomy 5 verse 4, Moses tells the people, God spoke to you face to face on the mountain. The people were so afraid of God's voice, they asked Moses to speak to God on their behalf. Hey, you just go talk to him and come back and tell us what he said, Moses. When it comes to Catholics, however, people see the second commandment as a sticking point. In fact, there are many people who believe that Catholics actually changed the 10 Commandments. The second commandment says, you shall not make yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. You have to remember when these commandments were given, they made golden calves for worship. This is what that commandment speaks to. God had just told them in Exodus chapter 20 not to worship idols, but by chapter 32, they were making golden calves. God was so upset with the people. He told Moses, hey, go down there and get your people that you brought out of Egypt. But Moses was like, no, God, these are your people who you brought out of Egypt. God was going to destroy all of them and start over with Moses. Let me just point out one more thing here. It was Aaron from the family of priests who instructed them to make the calf. He should have been the one to stop them, but instead Aaron nearly got them all killed. There are some people, like our listener David, who believe that Catholics' worship of Mary with all the statues and crosses and candles violates the second commandment. I must admit, Catholics do have some weird things going on. I found out while researching this, Catholics have prayer cards. I didn't even know that was a thing. There is a lot of anti-Catholic sentiment out there, mainly by former Catholics. Apparently, there are enough people that feel the same way about the second commandment that there are Catholics who responded to defend their faith. Catholic Answers and Catholic Truth both have great videos on the subject here on YouTube. When I compared the verses of the New Catholic Bible with the New King James Bible, I didn't see much differences in scripture. However, many people point out the differences is in the catechism, which is like a booklet they use for the purpose of religious teaching. I can't speak to the catechism. I've never studied one before. The responses by Catholic Answers and Catholic Truth seem to be perfectly logical to me. What do you think? Do you think Catholics violate the second commandment? If that's the case, is it everyone who wears a cross or tattoos angel wings on their back in violation? Please subscribe and like this video. We'll see you next time. This is the Matthew 7 Project. Ask, seek, knock. God bless you.